Good Thursday evening. Welcome to BCP Live. Hi, I'm Joey McWilliams, and my software for this broadcast actually has another step now. I've noticed that today. It's giving me another step to when I go live, it says, "Do you really want to go live? Are you sure about this?" It doesn't quite say it exactly like that, but that's the way I feel like it says. It's saying it to me personally. It's just like, "Do you really want to do this? Do you really want to go live and talk to everyone?" So I have to push the button twice and make sure I get out there to everybody. Hi, Brian. Glad that you are along for the ride tonight. And Teresa and Seth and Mike and Jason and anybody else. Let me pull this other monitor up over here and see if anybody else has joined tonight that I can see. So, Zeph. Oh, my goodness. Zeph, thanks for watching tonight. I appreciate that. It's good to see your name coming up there as well. All right. Dottie. Your name came up on my other monitor over here, so that is cool. And that one as well. Dottie, you came up on both of them. All right, so here's what this week has been. It's been interesting from the internet perspective because we've had some challenges since about this time last week. I think Thursday is when the show just kind of went, off the rails internet-wise. And so I've had a tough time with that. The cat is in the room again, so anyone asking for the cat last night, he still may make an appearance. I can't call him over. I don't know. If he shows up, he shows up. Trust me. I won't push him away. But the internet has been of issue lately, and so we're going to try to make it through this as much as we can. Not a long show tonight. Just a couple of things I needed to get out. And one thing that was really on my heart, and I wanted to share something with you tonight, just something on my heart. This may be for you. This may not be for you. And there you go. So I'm just going to pitch that. Hi, Kristen. Glad that you're watching tonight. And Kathy, thank you for watching tonight as well. Let me say thank you to some folks really quickly, to some businesses here in town, including Alliance Health in Durant, Castile's Tire, DW in Calera, Friends of the Library, good folks. They are great folks there. All these people are great people. Holmes Coffee Murray Funeral Home, Kaimichi Technology Center, Modern Abstract, Shelburne Heating and Air, and Jeff does watch on a regular basis from he's it's kind of like Robert and Jamie Miller. You just never know where Jeff's going to be watching the show from, so that's pretty cool. Shout out to Jeff. Mrs. Patriot is watching tonight. Cool. That is really neat. Texoma Engraving and Woodman Life. So I'm very, very thankful. And those are just a few of the sponsors of the Bryan County Patriot. So I just wanted to say thank you to each of them. And move on from there. Yeah, Mike, internet. Yeah, that's where I get the little angry thing. I hope no one's putting the little angry symbol up there. And I know Mrs. Patriot tells me I have to have thicker skin than that. But anyway, yeah, I think I've had the little angry emoji a few times for that. Okay, here's what I wanted to throw out tonight. Not throw up. That's when we put the comments up there. But just throw out there tonight. Becca, Mike, glad you're watching. And Butch, thank you for stopping by as well. Okay, couple things on the list. This is locally. Now, there were some mammograms recently, free mammograms. Those were in Sherman, but that happened this week too. So always take advantage of those things, especially if you need to do that. Free Shred Day. Free Shred Day. I thought this was an interesting one at First United. Next Saturday, business owners and community members take advantage of this opportunity to protect your identity by shredding your confidential documents. I had never heard of Shred Day before, but I think it's cool. That's a neat thing to get to do. So anyway, I guess I don't know if they have a massive shredder that you see like only in movies, but I mean this stuff is going to take it out. So all right, Mike, picture looks good right now. Well, I'm glad. I'm really glad. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, okay. I'm going to read the rifle raffle flyer to you. I said there would be a story about this coming up, and we do have a couple of good story ideas that are on the way within the next few days. So anyway, this is out there. I talked about this last night. Rifle raffle benefiting the disabled American veterans. Okay. Tickets are $10 each or 3 for $25. And this is, again, the DAV. We have a local DAV chapter. Hi, Darla. Nice to see your name come up there. It's been fun promoting you guys at Omnicare 365. So good to see your name coming up there. AR-50, excuse me, AR-15 style rifle built by Barrett's Outdoors, Anderson lower, Saratac upper, 16-inch barrel, 15 handguard with adjustable stock, 223 caliber. Or a Mossberg Patriot Predator, I like that name, bolt action 6.5 Creedmoor, 22-inch fluted and threaded barrel, matte blued and flat dark earth finished, synthetic stock, 4-round, includes Diamondback scope, 3 9x40. So there are going to be 2 drawings. First winner has a choice of either rifle. Second drawing winner will receive the other. You must be 18 years old or older to enter. I would hope so. My goodness. And winners must be able to complete and pass the Federal Firearms Transaction Record background check and pick up rifle at Barrett's Outdoor Center in Durant, Oklahoma. If you need a ticket for this, you'd like to buy a ticket again, we do want to support the DAV, especially our local chapter here. So it's a big deal. You can contact Pappy at 580-317-7418. And I'll tell you what, I will, let me go ahead and put that in the comments really quickly, if I can. (317-7418). There we go. So if you are interested in getting in touch with them for this rifle raffle, okay, that is going to be, the drawing's held October 17th, so you have a good while to get everything together and be involved in that. That is like 3 months away. So there is that. All right, next thing on the list that I wanted to talk about really quickly. I know that masks seem to be the topic of choice of late, and lots of talk about this. So I wanted to pitch something to you all really quickly regarding the masks. Now, whether you are for the masks or against the mask, really, I'm going to put that aside for just a moment and say this. I know that on Monday, it's going to be mandatory when you go to Walmart to wear a mask. Now, some people do, some people don't in businesses around town. It looks like the Oklahoma State government is not going to have lots of talk. Yeah, you're right. Is not going to have this mandated as something that all businesses do and all public places do, at least at this point. It may come, it may not. But what I wanted to share with you was this regarding that, and especially for the folks at Walmart. And I know a lot of them, well, at least I know a lot of them by face. Now, there are some folks that I do know by name. And yeah, it is good to know where. That's the important thing. It's good to know where you need to wear them, because some places you do and some you don't. Generally, there are signs that are up. But for Walmart in particular, I have spent a lot of time over the years going to Walmart. It's kind of a running gag too, because the folks in there, they'll see me and they'll come through, and then I'll forget something. We don't live that far away from Walmart right now, and so I'll go back, and then maybe later in the day I'll have gone a third time. I go really seriously way too many times. But I do know the folks in there. And I was speaking with one of the employees today that I've gotten to know fairly well. And, not to throw anyone's name out there or anything, but just speaking with him. And I said, man, it's coming. He said, yeah, it's coming on Monday. He told me, he said, that should be a poll that you put on your Bryan County Patriot. Are you for or against the masks? And well, that's, first off, it's so dividing and it's become politicized so much anyway. I really didn't want to do that, because I want the Patriot website to definitely be a place, and the Facebook page as well, where there's not a whole lot of too much griping. I mean, every now and again we air a little bit of displeasure with a story that comes up there, but I'm very grateful. Most of the folks that post are really civil and don't put a lot of things like that they shouldn't put on there anyway. A couple of people, I think, have found out that they can't drop certain words on the Bryan County Patriot Facebook page because those specific words are blocked. So there are some things you just can't say on the Bryan County Patriot Facebook page. And if you do so, then your post gets automatically taken off. So there's that. But anyway, I just wanted to, yeah, Brian, so shop small and local. And I get that, and I do my best to shop small and local too. What I wanted to say was this: most places like Walmart, the employees there didn't set the rules. And because of that, whether it be a rule for you to not have to wear a mask or whether it be a rule for you to have to wear a mask when you come into that place of business, the employees are not setting the rules. So if you are going into a place, if you're not a fan of the mask, and I'm not debating that right now. That's totally off the debate table for the moment. Whether or not you're a fan of the mask, if you're not a fan of the mask, we've talked about this. We want to respect the people around us, and especially if you're going into a place of business, man, be kind. Just be kind. You may be a fan of the mask and going in, and now you're happy because everybody's wearing a mask in Walmart. That's great. But even if you aren't a fan of the mask, it's no big deal. And with the mask on, even if you are frowning and you're not happy, hey, most people can't see your frown. They can still see it in your eyes, but they won't be able to see it. So if you're not happy about the mask, but be kind to the employees. Lots of the employees of even a big place, a big box store like Walmart, the employees all live around this area, Durant and Bryan County and locally. So we definitely want to be kind. And I heard somebody saying, oh, I know what it was. It stuck with me. So Jason, if you're still watching, Jason said it last night. Jason Manus said it last night. He follows the golden rule in dealing with the customers there. We were talking about that, Jason from Shamrock Bank, and he was talking about following the golden rule with the customers. And how cool is that to do that? So we ought to follow the golden rule, I think, even as employees, as customers to the employees. So I'm catching up on comments now. I looked at the camera for a long time. I have not one, but 2 daughters and a brother that have joined tonight. So, wow, how about that? Jamie Templeton, shout out to you. Darla, I've already said hi. Your name scrolled back up there. Nick, if you're still watching, hi to you as well. Foo is in the house. And Brandy Green, shout out to you. You're incredibly cool. Let me catch up here a little bit. Yeah, well, hey, thank you. You know what, Darla, I'm going to throw this one up there really quickly. And we were promoting Omnicare 365. I hope you voted, by the way, for them. Best workplace. Cool. Isn't that neat? It's a tough spot sometimes when reporting news, and I am doing my best to stay neutral and factual. So, thank you, Darla. I appreciate that. When we do the commentary on here, sometimes I'll drift a little bit, but when reporting the news, we really try to do that as well as we can. Jason, you are still watching. Thank you for the shamrock emojis. That's made my night. Jaylee Bell says, hi, Granddaddy. Hi, Jaylee Bell. Your granddaddy loves you. Very much so. And if you're watching and you didn't know I had grandkids, I know. I don't look like I'm old enough to have grandkids. Plural now. Plural. Have a grandgirl and a grandboy. So that's way cool. Yes, Brandy, hi to you as well. All right. This is why I came on tonight, though. Not just for all of that, because I think I've gotten everything out of the way. And forgive me. It gets a little hot out here in the studio sometimes. This is why I came on tonight. I want to share this with you because this was on my heart, and this is not long. And so if you're, going, oh my goodness, he's going to preach to us, just a little bit, but I promise it to not be long. And so, hi, Kathy. Hi, Seth. Glad to see your name's coming up there as well. Tammy, good to see your name on there as well. All right, here's the deal. Again, I don't know who this is for, so I'm going to throw this out there. This is for you, great. If it's not for you, then maybe it will be someday. Have you ever started to clean up a room that was a mess? And I mean a mess. Now, if both of my 2 oldest daughters are still watching, I was going to talk about them tonight. Anyway, I will tell you, they used to share a room when they were little. Every one of our 5 kids have shared a room at some point in time in their raising. Matter of fact, there's even a room being shared right now. So, that's just part of it. But we try. When we get an opportunity, we try to open things up and let everybody have their own room. But right now, there is a room being shared by siblings, and it happens. But the oldest 2 daughters shared a room for a long, long time. And that was okay. I don't know if they liked it as much growing up, but it was. But I'm telling you what, every now and again, that room would get to be a mess. And I mean a mess. And I'm not talking about a small mess. I'm not talking about, I'll pick up these toys. I'm talking about by the time we got down, you dug through everything, and then you weren't really sure if that was the carpet or not, because you'd forgotten what the carpet looked like, and you're like, oh, well, that's it. Okay, that's really cool. I mean, we're talking a mess. Yes, subtlety is strong with this one. There's no subtlety here at all. It's just it's one of those things. So I would go in, and I'd get frustrated, and I would go, all right, I've got to help them, because they're young and they're kids, and they it was probably my fault a little bit if I'd let things go. Part of that time I was coaching, so I'd be on the road a lot, and I'd come back home, and I wouldn't think about their room very much, and then I'd go back there and go, oh dear God, what is happening here? So I'd get to work cleaning the room and just say, hey, listen, I'm going to suck this thing up, and I'm going to help them. And I had to do that a couple of times. And I don't know if you've ever noticed it about things like this. When you really get going and you're like, man, this is a mess, and it's got to be fixed. And you get to working on it. And so you pull things out over here, and you pull things out over here, and you get something over here, and you move these toys around, and you move the bed here, and you get some clothes, and then you're like, what is there? Why is a plate and fork in here? And you've got this over here, and then you find, oh, I didn't realize we had another animal. And you've got this, and you pull something, and by the time you get going, and when you really get into it, it looks worse than it did when you started. Have you ever been in a situation like that where you look, we've got to put the brakes on here. We're going to get this thing going. We're going to fix this. But things sometimes in the middle of it, before you get to the end, before you can even feel like you're seeing daylight, things look worse than they did when you started. It actually looks worse. I'm going to tell you two things about that. First, it's not actually worse. It only looks that way. Okay? Sometimes things look worse once you really get in, you dig in, you go, look, we're going to get to the other side of this thing. And the other thing is, there is another side. You really push those things, and you get it in, and you buckle down, and you say, no, I am not giving up. I know it looks bad. I know it's tough, and I know it's looking worse now than it is when I started, but I am going to stay with this thing. I'm going to push through. I'm going to get to the other side. And eventually you'll start to see a little bit of light, and a little bit of light, and a little bit of order to what was chaos, and then like super chaos, and then ultra super chaos, and then words that chaos only begins to, describe. Yeah. And then probably, and I don't use those words. Some of you may use other words. Yes, I did say another pet. Sometimes I feel like we've found an extra animal. Anyway. But yeah, some of you all can relate to that. I just wanted to say, look, often it only looks worse. Just keep pushing through. And the other thing is, you will get to the other side. There's a neat thing that I think we would all be served well to realize. And when we come to that realization that we don't know everything, it is one of the most liberating feelings in the world. It is one of the most incredible feelings in the world when you understand and you come through, because and for me it's tough sometimes, because I like to think I know everything. I know Mrs. Patriot would back that up. It's okay, you don't have to comment there, Mrs. Patriot, but I'm just telling you, I like to think I know everything, and my children probably would back that up. I like to think I know everything, and just a quick secret here, I don't, number one. And number two, I know I don't. Deep down inside, I know I don't. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to play it off like I do sometimes anyway. It is an incredibly liberating feeling when you first realize that, and you finally come to that conclusion of, I don't know everything. Number two, that's okay. And number three, God does. I don't know everything. That's okay, because God does. There's a cool story in 2 Kings chapter 6. And Dottie, if you're still watching right now, I know you. I think you like the history lessons. This is a cool history lesson. Of course, it comes right out of the Bible. But there's a neat story in 2 Kings chapter 6. And Syrians are coming after Israel, and Elisha is the prophet at the time in Israel, and Elisha keeps telling, the king of Israel how to defeat the Syrians because he knows what's coming because God's given him the inside track on everything. Well, the Syrian king gets upset. He's like, how are we getting beaten down all the time? And his men go, look, there's this dude in Israel, because, well, they didn't say that in the King James. But anyway, there's this dude in Israel who God's telling him everything you're doing. Okay. He even shows him what's going on in your bedroom, in your bathroom, and like, whoa, TMI. But anyway, so he knows what's happening. And the king of Syria is like, we're taking dude out. So he comes down, he brings all these men down, and they surround the town and the city in which Elisha lives. So Elisha gets up one morning, goes outside with his coffee. He had his OSU mug. Looks around a little bit and is like, wow, that's a host of Syrians. Yeah, they're everywhere. Takes another sip. May have gotten it at Opera House. I don't know. May have had some of the roast there at Opera House. So he's taking a sip. His servant comes out, and the servant is in total freak show mode. Okay, the servant comes out. He's peed himself. He's completely beside himself because he looks and he sees a host of Syrians all around. He doesn't know what to do. He's freaking out, and Elisha's like, whoa, wait. It's okay. Everything's going to be all right. One of the coolest lines in the Bible is that Elisha said, those that are for us are more than those that are for them. Those that are for us are more than those that are for them. And then he said, Lord, open up his eyes, let him see. And he opened up and God opened up the eyes of the servant, and he saw that here is the city, and here surrounding the city are these hosts of Syrians, but here up in the mountains, he saw, a much bigger host of chariots and horses of fire. Not just the chariots were on fire, at least the bunnies are on fire. Not just that the chariots were on fire, but the horses were made of flames too, and they surrounded the Syrians. But you know what? The servant, before God opened up his eyes, didn't see all that, but it didn't make him any less real. Sometimes we go through situations where we can't see our way through to the other side, and we don't know. All we can see are what's coming against us, and it gets really frustrating sometimes because if all you can see is what's coming against you, it can weigh you down. It can frustrate you. It can make you feel like, man, I got started on this, and now things are worse than they were when I got started. But you know what? I believe we turn things over to God, and I'm going to preach here too, because you don't want to do it on your own. In and of yourself, yes, you can crash and burn, and I mean in a huge ball of orange flame. Okay, you can crash and burn in and of yourself, but you trust God. You find out what it says in the Word, and you live that way. And I'm telling you what, those that are for us are more than those that are against us. And those are the things that can help you get by. So if you've ever started off into something and you're like, look, my life is kind of right now, but I want to trust God. I want to get to the other side. I want to get out of this mess I'm in. The only way to do it really is turn it over to God, I want to get out of this mess I'm in, and you start off and things seem bad. It seems like it was worse than what you pushed through. And when God's involved, again, you may not always see the chariots of fire. You may not always see the horses of fire or the bunnies or whatever the case may be. You may not always see all those things, but it doesn't mean that they're any less real. God can help you get through on the other side. Thank you for listening to me preach for a little while. For those of you that stuck around and listened, I know the numbers always go down on the little eyeball section when I start preaching, but that's okay. I think that, we listen, we get what we can, and I'm not taking up an offering. Okay? I did not take up an offering. So there you go. That should be another reason to just stick around for a little while. At least I'm not going to take up an offering this time. Just kidding. All right. Did I miss anybody else coming in? Hey, Nanny stopped by. Appreciate that. Brent, Richard, thank you all for stopping by as well. I am very, 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 very grateful. You all have made my night. I promised you I would go shorter tonight. And because I promised, I'm going to hold up to it. So I will not let this thing go to 30 minutes. But you all have made my night. Man, I appreciate getting to see all the comments as well. You all are a blessing. Darla, thank you very much. I hope I don't know if it's for you or me or whoever else. I just really felt like tonight was the night to share that. It's been on my heart throughout the afternoon. Just works out that way sometimes. So, and I don't always say everything I know. I know Mrs. Patriot thinks I do. Mrs. Patriot thinks that I say everything I know all the time. I think she does. She may not, but I think that she does. And so I know she gets a little concerned sometimes when I really get going because, oh, dear Lord, what's he going to say next? But sometimes you just feel like you hear from God. So, all right. Denise, man, good to see your name come up there as well, man. It's nice to see that last night. Thank you so much for watching from where you are. Teresa, you are a blessing. Michelle, you are a blessing. Brian, you're a blessing too. Get that casserole. That is fine. Vicky, thank you oh my goodness. No, Basie went off the screen. I thought he was coming up to jump on the table. He actually sleeps right here, and I thought he was coming up, but he went up off screen. Oh my goodness, he just looked at me. He knows. This cat knows. He's taunting us. Jamie, man, well, thank you. I'm glad to hear that too. Becca, Mike, man, I'm glad to hear you guys say that too. Thank you very much. It wouldn't be, you know what, I have to preach every now and again. I do have a license. All right. Are we done? Did we get everybody? Marla, hey, cuz. Man, I've had a brother, a cousin, a wife, mother-in-law, 2 daughters, a granddaughter, maybe even nephew and niece. I don't know. We'll be there. Kristen, I appreciate you. Okay, everybody, I think I've gotten everybody's name who's come up there. Vicky, thank you very much for watching tonight. I am grateful. Yeah, I love that story too. I really like that story a lot. All right, we're good. There is a local business that I really hope we get to talk about tomorrow night. Really, really hope. Okay, so we're pushing for that. If so, it will be really another cousin. That is right. Another cousin. That's through Mrs. Patriot. So I'm going to post that one. This is from my brother. Can our kids still call her Aunt Jody, or did she officially change her name to Mrs. Patriot? That we'll see. We'll check on that. All right. Oop, closing in on time. You all are a blessing. Absolute blessing. Yes, I know, Mrs. Patriot. That's what Denise was saying. Another cousin by you. Caddo Rodeo next weekend. We'll have to talk about that some too. Seriously, though, really want to get this other local business on tomorrow night. So I don't want to say for sure because I don't ever want the guests to feel uncomfortable, or if they can't make it, that they feel bad about not being able to make it. We're going to try to do that. You need to be wise, though. You need to be wise in everything you do. And wisdom comes from God. But you know what? When we asked, God said he would give it to us. Secondly, use discretion. There are going to be things, even the weekend's coming up. Tomorrow's Friday. Weekend is on the way. I know it doesn't seem like it means that much in this day and age anymore, but it's coming. Decisions that are going to come on your front doorstep to make. You're the only one that can make it. Make good decisions. And finally, do not walk in fear. I dare you. I dare you to not walk in fear. Respect, love, graciousness, favor, forgiveness, but never fear. Never, ever fear. You all are incredibly cool, and I just can't say that enough. God bless you. See you in about 24 hours.